Hey, sweeties. We're back with episode 4 of Kidnap, and I have to say, this episode is packed with drama, tension, and of course, those subtle but adorable moments that just make you root for Mhen and Q even more. So it all kicks off with Mhen delivering the ransom letter to Q's dad. I had to laugh a little at this part because the letter specifically said, "Don't contact the police," and I'm sitting here thinking, seriously? He is the police? Mhen, did you forget who you're dealing with? But hey, he's doing his best to follow through on this whole fake kidnapping plot. So I guess we'll let that slide. What really got me though was how Q's dad read the letter like it was some kind of joke. You can tell he's not taking it seriously at all. The man knows something's up. And honestly, with how smart Q is, it's hard to fool anyone in this family. Speaking of Q, the situation between him and Mhen has been growing in such an interesting way. Remember how they've been tying their hands together while they sleep? At this point, it's like a nightly routine for them. But I have to wonder, is this really just about Q's nightmares? Or is Mhen still low-key afraid Q might try to escape? I mean, if it's about the nightmares, why not just lock the door, right? I feel like Mhen is using it as an excuse to stay close to Q without making it too obvious that he wants to be close to him. There's something so cute about how Mhen has gone from being Q's captor to his almost protector. And then things take a turn when Q hears gunshots coming from Mhen's phone. You could see how terrified Q was at that moment. Poor guy has some serious anxiety when it comes to violence. What really touched me, though, was how Mhen immediately got worried for him. He could have just brushed it off, but nope, he cared enough to use earphones just so Q wouldn't have to hear those triggering sounds. And when Q asks, "Why do you care so much?" I couldn't help but smile because, sweetie, the answer is right in front of you. Mhen likes you. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. Mhen's feelings for Q are becoming more and more obvious, even though he's trying to play it cool. Like when he's sitting there worrying about Q's reactions and trying to make things easier for him, it's pretty clear that Mhen isn't just doing this out of obligation. He genuinely cares for Q, and I'm pretty sure everyone watching can see it too. Now, let's talk about Q's dad for a second, because this man is a whole mood. He's still pursuing this case like nothing's happened, even though his son is supposedly kidnapped. I mean, what kind of dad does that? You'd think he'd be more concerned about his kid's safety, right? But no, Q's dad is stubborn as ever, and he's not letting go of this case anytime soon. Mhen, trying to help the situation, suggests that they call Q's dad to put some pressure on him, but Q immediately shuts that idea down. He knows his dad well enough to realize that a phone call isn't going to change anything. Q's dad has his own agenda, and it doesn't look like he's going to back off. Now, here's where things start to get a bit lighter. Thank goodness. There's this adorable scene where Mhen and Q end up in a playful little fight, and Mhen actually lets Q punch him. I mean, how cute is that? Mhen's over here acting all tough 1 minute. And the next he's allowing Q to hit him just to lift his spirits. The way Mhen behaves all childish just to make Q smile is honestly heartwarming. I feel like Mhen is starting to understand Q on a deeper level, and he's using these little moments to connect with him. It's like he's saying, "I'm here for you, even if it means letting you punch me for fun." Their chemistry is growing into something really sweet, and I'm totally here for it. After this, Mhen gets called back to work. His bodyguard duties are waiting for him. But before he leaves, he's acting like the daddy of the house, giving instructions to both Q and Mhen like they're his little family. He's like, "Behave while I'm gone." And it's just so funny to see him slip into this role of being the responsible one. You can tell that Mhen is really starting to take on the responsibility of caring for both Q and Mhen, and it's giving me all the soft, protective vibes. Like he's not just some guy who kidnapped Q. He genuinely cares about their well-being now. But of course, as soon as Mhen leaves, things don't exactly go according to plan. Q and Jean decide to take Mhen out, and Mhen is determined to learn how to ride a bike. Turns out, Mhen's got a little crush on Jean, and Jean's into bikers. So naturally, Mhen wants to impress her, but it starts raining. I mean, classic drama move, right? Everything's going fine, and then boom, rain. By the time Mhen gets back, he's furious, especially at Q. Mhen is all, "You endangered Mhen's life." And honestly, he kind of has a point. But at the same time, he's being a bit over the top. What's really funny is how Mhen and Q start arguing like a married couple over Mhen's safety. Q is like, he deserves to be happy, and Mhen is all, not if it puts him in danger. The way they bicker is seriously giving me couple vibes, and I love it. But poor Mhen, he's caught in the middle of all this. He gets so upset that he locks himself in his room, and next thing you know, he faints. Mhen has to bust down the door to get to him, and they rush him to the hospital. Luckily, it's nothing too serious, just a common cold. But you could see how much Mhen was worried. At the hospital, Q tries to apologize to Mhen, but Mhen's still mad and tells Q to leave him alone. Oof, that hurt. I really felt for Q at that moment because you could tell he didn't mean any harm, and now he's getting shut out. Later, Mhen and Jean try to convince Mhen to apologize to Q, but Mhen is all stubborn, saying, "We're grown-ups, there's no need for apologies." Like, dude, there's definitely a need for it. But you know how Mhen is, he's tough on the outside, but soft on the inside. When they finally get back home, Mhen's too embarrassed to even go to his room because he doesn't know how to face Q. Eventually, he musters up the courage to go and apologize, but when he gets there, Q is burning up with a fever from being out in the rain. This scene was everything. Mhen giving Q a sponge bath, but not just any sponge bath, okay? This one was on a whole different level. The way Q was looking at Mhen while he was doing it, let's just say there was definitely some tension there. And then there's the moment that really got to me. Mhen gives Q his favorite shirt. Yes, the one he was super protective over in episode 2. If that's not love, I don't know what is. And when they finally sit down to talk, Q opens up and says that if he had someone who could love him like Mhen loves Mhen, he wouldn't need anything else in life. I mean, could it be any more obvious? For me, that person is right in front of him, and I'm pretty sure Q knows it too. The episode wraps up with Mhen still being all protective over Q, even covering his ears during the gunshots in the movie they're watching. It's honestly adorable how Mhen goes out of his way to shield Q from anything that might trigger his anxiety. At this point, it's no longer just about keeping Q safe. It's about showing how much he cares. And it's not just me who sees it, Mhen and Jean see it too. Mhen is so in love with Q, and even though he hasn't said it out loud, his actions are speaking louder than words. But then there's that little scene at the end where Q asks Mhen, "Why are you protecting me so much?" And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that wasn't just part of their little act. I think Q genuinely wants to know why Mhen cares about him so much. And honestly, it's a question we're all wondering too. That's it for episode 4 of Kidnap. Mhen and Q are definitely getting closer, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Thanks for sticking around, sweeties, and I'll catch you in the next video.